Best. Thank
Okay.
you. Once
Okay.
again, I want to thank you on behalf of
Sarah?
institution,
Yes.
on
Yes,
behalf
sir.
of department, and behalf of students community. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, Kanaga Subaraja, sir, you can start.
Yes. Yes, sir. Sweta, you can.
Yes, sir. I'll start, sir. So, good afternoon to one and all present here. I'm so privileged to extend a warm welcome to you all to this Industry Readiness Program Series 01 on harnessing the collective powers of digital disruption organized by our department, Artificial Intelligence and Data Science. Learn to adjust yourself to the conditions you have to endure, but make a point of trying to alter or correct conditions so that they are most favorable to you. Yes, we should learn to cope with change and make most of it. This session is all about that, harnessing the collective powers of digital disruption. Now, I invite our head of the department, Dr. Kanaga Subaraja sir, to address the gathering.
Thank you, Sweta. Very good afternoon to all. I welcome today's chief guest, Mr. Balaji Prem sir, Senior IT Officer, Business Solution, World Bank Group, Chennai, and our respected Dean Academic, Dr. A. Saravanan sir, and sir and principal sir, due to another meeting, unable to join this occasion. And Venkat sir is a parents of our AADS students, Mukul Rayana. Welcome, sir. And faculty of Artificial Intelligence and Data Science, and my dear first year and second year Artificial Intelligence and Data Science students. And I am happy to introduce our another novel initiative, the Industry Readiness Program Series. So why we are conducting this type of guest lecture, the objective is, and this event to prepare our students to meet the industry standard from first year onwards. So today's Mr. Balaji sir is having very vast experience in artificial intelligence and Internet of Things field. And today is harnessing the collective powers of digital disruption. And I am sure this topic will be very useful for everyone. And he will give information to the students about what is required in the industry. So once again, I welcome everyone. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much for your words, sir. Now, I invite our Dean Academics, Dr. A. Saravanan, sir, to say a few words.
So, very good afternoon to all our beloved HODs and our chief guest, and my dear parents and students of artificial intelligence and data science. Very proud to say that today we have the wonderful chief guest, Mr. Balaji Gudwa Prem, the leading senior IT officer from World Bank funded lending projects. Sir, very much having knowledge on IoT related area. Definitely, I say this kind of the wonderful initiative will be supporting to our students community, so they can understand what is the gap between industry and institution. By the way of getting this kind of the wonderful lecture sessions, definitely I say and hope our students community can easily perform well once they are deploying in the reputed industry. So I want to use this opportunity and express my own regards and best wishes to all the students. And once again, I want to thank the chief guest, Mr. Balaji sir. Sir, you are during your busy schedule, you are participated here. You are participating here, and you are going to do good job to our students community. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you, HOD sir and Mr. Balaji sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for joining the event. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much for your words, sir. Now, I would like to introduce our guest speaker, Mr. Balaji Kudwa Prem, sir, who has been with the World Bank Group for the last 15 years and is presently working as a senior IT officer in Chennai. With over 18 years of industry experience and a relentless passion for bleeding edge technology, he has helped complete several IT, IoT, electronics projects for NGOs, associations, and federations. In recent times, Balaji has been working closely with the Government of India and the Government of Kerala for World Bank funded lending projects to employ IoT in development projects. We are happy to have you with us, sir. I request you to take over the session, sir.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the introduction, and thank you, Dean sir, HOD sir, parents, and my dear students. And it's really a great privilege to stand in front of you. And I wish we could have had more of physical connect. And then again, end of the day, if you really look at it, again, we are connecting. There is a digital that connects between you and us, right? So I'm really happy for that. So let me quickly get to that, and I just want to make sure that you can see the presentation and see my video. So can you do a quick thumbs up or just say it so that I just want to make sure I have it given to you. So again, the agenda is very simple. We are going to talk about past, present, and future, right? So again, let's quickly get into the topic, right? So see, as we are really getting more and more intimate to the digital world, right? So we have on one hand a digital world, and we have on other hand a physical world. And as year progresses, what happens is that this digital world and the physical world is kind of getting closer, and at a given point, it kind of really becomes entangled, and then it cannot be separable, right? So right now we are in that type of journey where these two worlds are together and it is becoming inseparable. So what you're going to really see here today is nothing but the past, the present, and the future of how the digital disruption is going to take it, right? So you must have been looking into it, what is that I'm trying to do here, and then what is that I will be really learning, and all the other things, right? So here, I just want to make sure that there are things that this digital disruption is really making our fundamental shift in our day-to-day life, right? And again, just imagine 2 years before that, we had a physical classes and all the other things, and now everything has become online. And see how digital is making such a huge transformation in our day-to-day life, right? So you're going to see, and across various technologies, how it is making a buzz, and you're going to learn about that, number one. And number two is something that is really important for you as students, that how this digital disruption creates an opportunity for you. Again, that's something that is key, right? So I also hear from the Dean sir and HOD sir that you're all AI students, and then I'm really more than happy to connect with all of you, because AI is something that's really close to my heart, and then you will see how it's going to create an opportunity in the real world or the real scenarios, so that you can have it take away, right? And the third is, again, there are new technologies that are bubbling in, right? So it's like a bubble that kind of comes up, so many new technologies are all really bubbling in, and some technology kind of really leave their way out, and some will kind of really just come in and go out, right? So you don't really realize, right? So we are going to quickly take away and see that, what is the technology that are all coming in future, and where we are going to do that, right? So that's something that I want to really cover here, the past, the present, and the future, right? So what I'm going to do here is that, let me first go through the past, right? So anything that we want to talk on present and future, right? First, we have to go back and see our back as to how and when the technology has started evolving, right? So let's go back to our own ages. And again, guys, students, the way that I'm going to give this presentation is not a lecture, right? So I'm not a professor, right, where you have a topic and you do a lecture, right? I'm not going to do that certainly. The way that I'm going to do it is that I'm going to prompt your brain and prompt your mind and prompt your thought process, so that you guys can think and see how you can empower these technologies, and see how you can empower all this industry leading stuff that is all happening, so that those can be applied, right? So that is what I'm going to do. Okay, so it is going to be connected to movies. We are going to have a storyline, and we are going to have a lot of fun while looking into this presentation. So it's not like a typical presentation that I have. So it's a please really sit back, relax, and enjoy the whole of presentation that I'm going to give it to you, right? So let me quickly go back to our past. Right. Once upon a time, long ago, where we have what we call call this a Big Bang theory, right? So this Big Bang theory is all when the universe have actually started, correct? And after the universe have started, we're going to really see how in the past communication have been made. And slowly, as years progresses, we really understand how things have become mature and more mature and even more mature, and how it's going to transform and how it's going to connect, right? So you're going to see the communication through these ages, how people have been communicating all these ages, and so that you understand the past of where we have been. Okay? All right. So back in 33,000 BC, the first ever communication that we all have is via the ancient cave paintings, right? So that is where the rock caving and all the other things that are there. I'm not sure if it's up down south in Tamil Nadu, there is a place called Sittannavasa, right? That is where one of the ancient paintings and other things that are kind of really happen. And then probably you can, when you get a chance, you can actually go and have a look at those paintings and see how the communication is started, right? The next, again, BC 150, we have something called as a smoke signal. Okay, that is how the communication has actually started. So they kind of really do a smoke, and then they have different colors of smoke so that they understand that hey, there is something coming up, and then they kind of really communicate. Even in forest, sometimes they do a smoke so that they kind of really communicate that there is a danger or there is something that needs to be there, right? And again, after transitioning AD to 1150, we have something called as then carrier pigeons, right? So you start seeing movies and all the other things like Pura Vulutu and all the other things, right? In modern terms, they call it flying rats, right? So these are they have a GPS embedded on their head, right? So they know from where they are starting and where they are ending, and then they used to have some information hide on them so that they can be carried over the places, right? And quickly moving on, right? So back in AD 1440, we have the brilliant innovation, what we call as the printing press, that was kind of really innovated so that there are very for communication. And then quickly moving on, then we have this telegraph of Morse code back in 1836, and that is where you see that, right? In the olden days, they'll just kind of really press a tab and then have some Morse code, and then that is how the communication was happening in the days that were there. And then the first thing was happened in Washington DC, in Baltimore. And again, as years progress, in 1876, the first ever the telephone of Alexander Graham Bell he invented, and then where the telephone actually the voice is kind of really getting a boom, right? And then back in 1920-25, then we have a communication of a television, radios, and again there are still close to 44,000 radio stations and 15,000 TV channels across the world, and again it is increasing day by day. Right? And again, on October 29, 1969, the first ever email was invented, and then that's when the email era actually kind of came into picture. And again, in 1969, the internet boom started, and then where the US military had actually used it for a private communication, and that is where the whole of internet story came into picture, right? So again, on the year that I born, right? So the 1978, where HTML was also born, or what we call as back those days a markup language, right? And that is when slowly it was all aiding to the internet, and that was there, right? And back in 90s, we had this search engines, and then the single page web pages that were all being presented, right? And then now in 2000, this decade where we are having all this social networking and all the other things that are all coming up, right? So again, online is something that it's prevailing right now. Okay, and again, quickly progressing. And now back in 2006, all these microblogging sites that have come to it, right? Instagram, Twitter, and all the other things. That is what is prevailing right now. And then again, you guys, I'm sure all of you have some sort of consortial account where you kind of really connect and do a communication, right? So that is what the year of 2006. And now again, progressing forward, we have again this online content collaboration and all the other things that were all happening. And that is what is prevailing right now, right? So do you guys by any chance know how is the future of communication going to be? Any idea? Anyone wants to just type or share something. I just want to take monologue here, and as I said, right, I want to make it as interactive as possible. So any idea of how? Okay, good, fantastic holograms, fantastic. Any idea how communication is going to be? Yeah, I could quickly to again. I'm not going to see your name, so I don't even know who your face is. So it's just the chat message that I'm going to see. So it'll be really helpful. I just want to see how your thought process is on this one, right? Any suggestions of how the future of communication going to be? All right. Okay. So let me quickly jump in on this chat bots. Fantastic. Yeah. Good. Yes, Pranav, yeah, same as today. Oh yeah, certainly it's not same as today, right? It's definitely going to improve, right? So here it is, right? So the future of communication is really going to be on this, what we call as a BCI. So what it really is going to be do is that, let's say me as a professor, or you as a student are there, right? So the moment I have a thought in my brain, automatically the thought is being embedded on the person who is also connected via my brain interface or whatever it is, right? So that is how the future of communication is going to be. So it's the thought that what I have is automatically communicated. It's the feeling that I have is automatically going to be communicated, and that is going to be the future of the communication, right? So again, I have some few slides on how this is will happen, and then you will be really interested to see how this is made possible, right? So with that, we have seen what is the past. And didn't I say you that I'm going to relate the whole the content with the movies? How many of you love watching science fiction movies? Just a quick thumbs up or yes or no. Have you seen any of these movies? Yeah, a lot of yes, fantastic. So, oh my God, I think let's convert this whole session into a movie. Right? So I see so many thumbs ups that are coming up, and then So again, I just want to quickly relate all of you students that the movies are all fiction. Okay, so and as the fiction over the years turns into reality, right? So all these movies that you really see here, right? So again we have tens and thousands of movies that are there, right? So I just picked a few so that in the last you will really realize that why I picked these movies, and then the topics that I'm going to deliver to you, and then how this is all really connected, right? So you're going to really see all these movies and the content that we are going to really see, right? So I'm really happy that all of you have at least some sort of interest on these science fiction movies, and then you're all techies, and then obviously this relates, right? So again, one thing, a quiz for you guys that at the end. So please, whenever I am talking about a technology, so just take a quick pen and paper or a notepad, and then all you have to do is that you have to quickly write if I'm talking about a technology, where this technology is used on that movie is something that you may have to quickly write for your own references, right? So at the end, I will have a quick, not a quiz, like it's not like a quiz, right? It's just that we'll have a quick discussion on how this movie is and then how the technology is connected, right? Okay, so are we good? Fantastic. All right, so let me quickly keep in mind technology relating to movies, right? So keep that thought process in your mind while I deliver the presentation, right? So now that we have seen the past, right? So how in the olden days, how communications are all happened. And now what we're going to really see is that in today's world, presently, what is really disrupting and what is really buzzing the industry and what is something that we want to really learn things up, right? So that is what we are going to quickly have it, right? So again, what you're really seeing here is as some of you have said that, holograms and all the other things, right? But once that you see really on the orange, right? So on the orange color, right? So these are all the things that as of today, it's really buzzing the industry. Okay. So which is like artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, and then the blockchain. Again, some of the technologies are already there, slowly budding up, but as we speak on today's context, right? So these are all the technologies that are really buzzing up. And then, I'm going to quickly touch upon this artificial intelligence and that we're going to do. Right? Again, I know you students are all having a background of artificial intelligence, but I just want to give my own view of in one single, like Thirukural, 2 lines, right? All I want to say is that artificial intelligence is intelligent execution by machines, right? Again, think and act and think humanly, act and think rationally, right? So these are all the 2 inevitable things that kind of really AI does, and then it kind of really exhibits by the machines, right? So again, once we really talk in deep, right? So I'm just going to quickly see where the AI is kind of really present, and then how it has actually evolved over these years, right? So AI actually have started back in 1950s, right? So the research for that has actually started back in 1950s. And then, I'm going to show you a quick presentation of, how when it actually have started, right? And slowly as years progress, right? So the subset of AI is more of an machine learning, where, slowly on back in 1990s and 2000s, it slowly start flourishing. And again, a subset of the machine learning is a deep learning. And, that is where it's prevailing right now. And again, we also have a subset of, again, a deep learning, which is like a neural networks and then DLL and other things. So, which I'm not going to really cover here, but I just want to give a sense of how AI has done its own transformation journey, right? All right, so just quickly moving on, right? So again, people are really talking about AI, ML, DL, DNN. Oh my God, I'm confused at what really is all about, right? So again, let's go back to the fundamentals and concepts of the AI, right? So again, the point here is that, the reasoning power, right? And knowledge representation. Knowledge representation is something that, I ask a question and then it kind of really responds, right? So that is a knowledge representation. And a vision that I have, right? And then I have this language or a voice, right? So vision is nothing but eyes. Language or voice is my voice that I'm talking, right? So how it processes it. And then my mind of, how it kind of reading, and then overall a general intelligence, right? So all this is what it really constitutes an AI, right? So like I've explained in the earlier slides, right? So this AI has a several subset of all the components that I have really listed on the right, and where you see that, neural networks, deep learning, machine learning, artificial intelligence, and end of the day, for everything to really work, a data science is something that is really fundamental, right? So again, data is the king or queen, right? That is where you have a crown there. And without data, nothing is really possible for you to really work on AI. So now, without understanding the foundation or without understanding the fundamentals of the data and how data is structured and how it is organized, it's really difficult for you guys to really understand what is all about, AI, right? So foundation is data, and then every other thing kind of comes into play, right? So, all right. So again, I just want to quickly rush through these slides because again, you will be anyways learning, or you will be detected to learn, but I just wanted to give my own view of, how the machine learning is all happening, right? So again, the important point to note here is without being explicitly programmed, right? That is what a machine learning is all about, and then how it kind of really, empowers a device that it kind of really works on, right? So again, I'm not going to go here, and then I just going to quickly rush through these slides because I have a few more slides which I want to really cover in detail. So again, ML, supervised, unsupervised, and enforced learning, right? So I just wanted to take, and again, I just want to just leave the topics with you guys so that I don't want to train this, and we can take it as we are going to take it. That's the next step, right? And again, on the deep learning, I just want to give a quick example of the deep learning, right? You must have seen the Google photographs and the Google or iPhone's images, right? So where you have something called as a face recognition or a face identification of any photograph that you really take automatically, it understands the pattern of the face, and then it automatically asks you that, hey, is this the person that you're really referring, right? So that is what the phone typically does, right? It's nothing but a deep learning that kind of really embedded on, or AI is deep learning that is kind of really embedded on your face, and then the recognition pattern and all the other things, right? So it's kind of really attempting to simulate a human brain end of the day, and what we are really trying to do is that there are various layers and ways that our brain process the typical information. So all this research over these years have actually transformed those things into a brain connected computers, right? So that's what it's all about. And then, how typically a brain simulates, and then that is what is being done on the deep learning and the research of the deep learning, right? So again, I'm not going to really talk, and as I said at the beginning, right? So I'm just going to prompt your mind with the various technologies that are up there in the industry, so that all these things are embedded on it, right? So again, that's where actually we are coming into the, how, as I said to you, right, how AI is really connecting the current world, right? So that is something that is really important for you guys to understand. And then, and this is something that really connects to an industry, right? So if you really look at here, so let me, so if you really look at here, right? So what you see here is a Molly, is nothing but a robotic arm and a robotic kitchen. Again, this is not a joke, right? Now you can go and type molly.com, not right now, after the session is over. You can customize a robot and then say, you know what? I want to prepare, let's say, dal makhani or dosa or whatever, right? All you can do is that, you can do a recording and then programming it, and then the whole of cooking will be done by the robotic arm. So there's gone all the days where, I chop onions and I have a tawa to lay dosa. It's all gone, right? So the industry is moving in such a way that, whatever the monotonic work that we are really trying to do is being transformed, right? And again, with all this new age robotic vacuum cleaners, robotic, the vehicles that are coming up, you can see I have put some of the pictures on the screen that you are seeing, right? So again, this is how the industry is heading. So the way that I wanted to really give is that, please think on the applications where human really spends enormous amount of time spending their time and energy, and see how you can help to transform the manual monolithic work to an automated indigenous intelligent work, right? So in Delhi, in one of the projects that we were working in the Delhi government was to actually clean the sewage by a robotic, right? So IIT students have actually developed that robot, and then what it does is that it kind of really goes to the sewer system and then tries to clean the whole sewer system, and then it makes it up, right? So likewise, your thought process something needs to be in a way that hey, where are we really heading, and then how I can connect it, right? So that is how your use case, or that is how your thought process really needs to be, right? And again, you can see the humanoids, right? So you can see Erika, Sophia, and Gia, right? So, and again, more interestingly, she is a Saudi Arabian citizen, and she has a passport, and she is traveling to nations to talk about things, right? So that is how the whole world is navigating, and then all the news reading activities are has been translated to the humanoid or robots that are there. All right, so quickly moving on, right? Okay, so before that, what I have really done is for you, again, I know, if I speak, you will get bored, and again, it's a post-lunch period, and it's already 3, and you must be having a little dose of sleep. So I thought, maybe I'll have some more videos that are embedded, and then these videos you will not see in YouTube, and it's all been crafted and created. So this video is going to really sum up the whole of AI that I just said, and then where we are going ahead in the future. So please enjoy the video. All right. I hope you enjoyed the video of the AI. And again, I'm just quickly rushing here because I'm from World Bank, and then you also want to understand, the blockchain about it, right? So maybe it's not of interest to you, but blockchain is something that is really hitting hard on these industries, and then where even on AI and IoT, blockchain is something that is becoming inevitable because it has a unique proposition of recording the transaction and tracking the asset in a decentralized network, right? So all these cryptocurrencies, and then you must have heard the news, right? So government is passing a new law on cryptocurrency again, all these things, right? So it's all backing on this blockchain technology, right? So again, my suggestion to you guys is to how we can embed the blockchain, and I just want to quickly give a use case of the blockchain. That what we have done is that from the World Bank, we are proud to say that we have the first blockchain bonds that was issued in collaboration with the Australian bank. It's like called as a Bondi. So I just, again, I'm not going to really talk much on it, but I just want to leave that information to you so that you can research more and then probably try to get more out of it, right? So I just want to just quickly rush this info to you before actually we move on to the next technology, which is really closer to my heart, is on this Internet of Things, right? So how IoT is really transitioning in today's world, right? So let's quickly see as we speak that, the next logical step in technological revolution is, again, connecting people with anytime, anywhere, anyone, and anything, right? So that is how the whole process is going to be, right? So again, without even we realizing, right? So we have been exploited, and we have been, getting into all these technological components that one cannot really avoid, right? So be it a simple step such as that, putting up stuff in a Google, right? So automatically Google knows where you are, and then automatically it's kind of keeping you on track, right? So it's the components that are using all these days of in such a way that there is a technology that is being unavoided, right? So again, I just want to quickly pause here, and then I just want either a thumbs up or probably a thumbs down. Tell me one person who is not using a mobile phone until now. Either a thumbs up or thumbs down. Again, thumbs up, I know 99% of the people are using, but is there anyone, right? Anyone who is not using a technology? I just want to see one thumbs up. Sorry, one thumbs down. Any one person who is not using a technology. Oh yeah, I see one thumbs down. Who was that? All right. So again, so I think by the end of the session, you'll all understand why even though you're not using technology, right? So without even realizing, but you will realize that you have been exploited and then using technology, right? You will see how that is. So IoT, again, as I said, right? So that is inevitable, and then that is all coming up, and then it's kind of really the next the vision of the whole of industry and how it's going to migrate, right? So let me just quickly get on to the how IoT is kind of really evolved, right? So I just want to go back and draw and do a quick connect with the past that has been done, right? So on the pre-internet era, we have the human-to-human communication, right? And then while we have the content of email, remember I was saying in the past, right? There was an email that was there, and then the whole communication happened, right? So we used to write emails, hello Anna, hello Appa, I'm doing fine, and all the other things, right? So that is how we used to type. And in the phone, when I was in college, right, I was standing in the line to talk on the phone and saying that we'll have some STD ISD booths, and then I'll call, and then they'll just give 1 minute, and then all this information I have to sum up in a minute, right? So those were the times, and then slowly it navigated to email content, where I was the post college time, I was writing emails, and now the web service, actually Internet of Services came in, right? Where the web related things come in. So a lot of people were actually doing web and other things, right? And now that internet of people, where the social media you guys are living in right now, hey dad, what's up? Okay, hey, and the dad will be typing, dear son, where are you? Yeah, just do a thumbs up or a thumbs down or give a smiley, and that is all the reactions that you all do to your parents, right? So that is how it is really connected. So the people are really getting connected. The people are connected to internet, right? So now that is what you're going to see here. The next set of connection that is going to happen is that machine, the man is connected to machine and machine is going to connect it to machine, right? So you must have thinking that, how that is even possible, right? Let me give a quick scenario, right? So nowadays we have all the smart washing machines that are all available, right? What it really does is that, let's say I buy an IFB washing machine, right? So this IFB washing machine has an Wi-Fi that kind of really connects to our internet, and then the moment the detergent kind of really goes slow, automatically it orders the detergent, and then it in a subscription model that where you have paid and then it deducts the money and then automatically detergent comes into play without a human touch, right? So that is how the future of world is going to be. Without a human, a machine will communicate to another machine so that things can revolve around that, right? And again, another example that I want to give is that all these new modern cars, like all the BMW and Audis and all the other things have an IoT, and that kind of really connects to a service station, and then when there is a service due for the machine, automatically it sends a notification, and then any problem that needs to be resolved, it's automatically done in a remote way. So that is how the evolution it's going to be, and a machine is going to connect to a machine, right? So that is the next future of world. And then I was telling you, right, without you realizing, we are all falling for it, and then there is no way we can track back, right? So how the world is actually revolutionized, right? So you must have heard about fourth industrial revolution, right? So again, we have back again. I want to connect everything from the past to where we are right now. That is where you are seeing all this, right? So we have this first industrial revolution, second industrial revolution where electricity was there, and then the third industrial revolution is where the microprocessors, right? So all the computing and other things were there. The fourth industrial revolution, or 4IR, is what typically we call it in the industry, is what is all the emerging technologies is how it's really disrupting, right? Again, very simple thing is right now, have you guys used all the Swiggy, Zomato, Uber, all this aggregation app, right? So where were those apps back, 5 years or 6 or 7 years before? Where did those apps were there? There were nothing, right? And these are all the aggregation emerging technologies that are coming, and then see how the industry is completely revolutionized. Gone are the days where I just go to a restaurant and then say, hey mom, hey, what do you want to eat? Yeah, I want a pizza. Okay, go order a pizza, and then a pizza within 40 minutes, where the person is coming, and then he or she is delivering the pizza in front of your door. Look at how disruptive it is, right? So every such things that this aggregation business have actually disrupted the way that we kind of really do the business. In medicine, whatever we take, right? In any of the industries that you take, look at your doctor visits, right? We used to stand in the queue. Now click the button. Hey, patient, how are you? Can you show me your eyes? All these things, right? So that's how the industry is turning fast, and then all these disruptive technologies that I'm going to talk again is really touching so hard, and then you are right at the heart of the technologies, and then yeah, again, I just want to take you how these things are going to really impact, right? So again, guys, we are just at the point of inflection, right? So the point of inflection is something that where things are just started picking up the pace, right? So in the world, right, if you see here, totally we have 1 billion places, and we have 5 billion people, and then we are going to have 50 billion things. Every small stuff that is going to be there, it's kind of really connected, or it is going to be connected to the internet, right? So that is where we are now in inflection points, and then you are all standing here. So if you are all or standing on this page, and you have to accelerate yourself to this world, and then the world is going to move here, and then you have to catch up the pace on doing it, right? So that's the progression. So the yellow one that you see, that is how the whole thing is really going to be progressing, right? So it's going to be more people, more things than the actual people itself, right? All right. So again, I just want to quickly, as I said, right? So how industry is using IoT, right? So this is the complete spectrum of how an IT, security, retail, transportation, health, energy, and the various sub-application, location, and the device and the sensors that is kind of really used. It's a garment of things that are there. And then if you even take a small things here, right? So you can really build wonders. So the opportunities that are awaiting in the world outside is really, really endless, right? So again, let me give a simple use case on the power management that I used to say, right? So where there is electricity that is being produced on one place, and then where there is a large surplus of electricity, and where there is a deficit of electricity another place, right? So surplus and deficit, if by using IoT, if you can really match up, and it will really help, so that you can really bridge the balance. Again, look at the water logging that is really happening, or the water scarcity that is really happening, right? So if you really use the technology and then see that what, there are always a water logging on this one, there is always a low-lying area, and if I use technology, and as and when things are really happening, if I can use technology to take the water in a lower area to a higher area, and that will really help business. So there are a lot of things, use cases that are all coming up, and then again, there are n number of things that can be done out of technology, and really we are sitting on the tip of the iceberg. Okay, so we are just on the tip of the iceberg, and as and when these things are going to prevail, it's going to really explode like anything. Okay, so interesting for you guys, right? So IoT use case in a human body itself, right? So again, you see here, smart glasses. I'm not, again, all this presentation that I'm doing is all connected to the industry. How smart glasses, smart toothbrush, smart razors, and you know what? We have something called as a smart pills, right? And all it does is just basically you have a small dissolvable electro component that is given as a tablet. So it has a small tiny camera. So it kind of really gets to the whole digestive tract to see if there is any issues that are there. And currently, right? So if you have to really track your digestive system, there is a huge endoscopy that you have to be a tube that goes into your stomach, and it's really a painful process. And it's just, look at how technology has helped. All you have to do is that pop the pill and then have a mobile app, and then you can see how things are all transferring, and then next day morning they will automatically go out. So don't worry about it, right? So here again, this is how the technology is evolving, and then helping us to make sure that we are transitioning, right? Again, Fitbit and all the smart watches, how it is, how without even you knowing that you are being tracked, right? Again, smart lenses, right? So it will tell you what you call the oxygen level, or the level of information that are there. Patch medications, where you can patch up something and then it automatically detects and connects, right? So airport scanners, automated face makers. Again, you see ECG in a watch, right? So I don't need to explain that. Smart toilets. So this is something that is becoming very, very prevalent, so that if you have any disease, or if you have anything, the moment you are done with your business, and automatically it tests your output, and then gives a reading saying that here you're all good or bad, right? So look at how technology is going into these places, right? Combs, earphones, and again, even in diapers, right? So again, all it does is that you have a smart diapers, where if your baby or your parents of the modern age, where they have a lot of work to do, where they don't have time to take care, buy smart diapers, put it in, and it will give a notification message saying that, hey, you know what, diaper is now wet, it's time to change the diaper. You go and change the diaper, right? So that's how technology is evolving. BP meter, again, smart chairs. Again, we have tons and tons and thousands of all these connected devices that is all available, and then that is how it's kind of really connected to the interface, right? Again, quickly moving on. So that's something that I said right from the beginning, right? So I just want to present you a live working of what we have done from the World Bank on the Internet of Things, collaborating with the government of Kerala, right? So if you really look at here, right? So this is the network or the schematic that we have actually implemented in the Kerala for actually tracking the water monitoring of the remote location and the places. You are aware, right? So the world is now covered 90, I think 96% there is a mobile network that is available, then the whole world is really covered, right? So using this, what we call as a specialized, the technical SIM cards, where, remember recently Tarai increased the mobile numbers to, I think, some 14 digit or something, right? So the reason that they have increased it is because this machine to machine communication and using a 2G spectrum to communicate all these things that are there, right? So if you see here, using the GSM network, these are all again, large water scheme, small water scheme, and these are all the sensors that are all placed and that is connected to make sure that the water flow information is kind of captured. And then let's take a simple use case, right? So this is something that, I have a IoT enabled device placed on my home where my water is kind of really see the usage of the water, right? So whatever that I have used, that usage is automatically transmission to the central server, and then where I kind of really capture the information, I do the monitoring, reporting, and analytics, right? So that is a POC that I personally implemented in the government of Kerala in one of the districts, so that just to demonstrate and to make the government authorities of Kerala understand how technology can really help. And this project was funded by the World Bank, and this project name is called as Jalanidhi. And again, if I can start talking about it, I'll not stop. So I'll just stop here. And probably in another opportunity, I can explain in details of, how this kind of really work. And again, I just want to see or explain you the industry, how the industry is connecting to this disrupting technologies, right? So now all the data that is being collected, I can do AI, ML, and then do an informed report analytics. And all I can say is that, there is a district where this water usage is kind of really low, and where the surplus, we have water surplus higher, where there is a district where the water usage is more high and there is a little less. So automatically I can do my own data analytics and then see that, okay, I am doing a surplus here, so I can translate some amount of water from what is being used here to here, so that, I can bridge the system. All this information is not there right now, right? Because I don't know, right? So where is the demand and where is the supply and then usage, right? All these things are now connected. And now I can do all the algorithm that I want to do to make sure that this information is automatically passed back, right? So again, I told you, right, all this information, I'm going to prompt your brain so that, you can think of a similar solution of existing problem that you have, and then think of a problem that can solve and give a solution to the real world. Okay, so just one use case that I want to give here, right? So again, if I were in a physical presentation, I would have shown this live. So what I've done is this is a product that I developed on my own, and I'm trying to get some patent to it, so that it's more of a smart agriculture. So I have named it as a precision tech farmer, using completely Internet of Things and the various sensors that are there, and then it collects the data, and then it does a bit of a small data modeling, and then make sure that, I grow my own plant. So the use case is that, while the industry is moving very fast, urbanizing very fast, there is no land that is left for us to cultivate cultivate and grow food for us to eat, right? So here, this is an opportunity that, where this is a self-sustained system that I've developed, so that, you can grow your own plants. And what it does is it does its own watering, it does its own sunlight, and then it also measures the growth of the plant, and it doses the what you call the exact nutrients based on when it is actually required, right? And it senses the rain, and senses the moisture, and senses the humidity, and it does all the computing. And I have all done it using Arduino and all this Python programming that you are there, right? So again, I still code, even though I have been in this industry for 20-25 years. So I still love to code. And then living example is that, Mukul is here, then and where we share our ideas to do something that is interesting, all these things, right? So this is just I just want to, not just on the talk, we want to really walk our talk, right? So this grow my own plant using IoTs and live demonstration. If you guys, again, I don't know if you can come to my home, I can show you all these things that I have been doing, and then maybe you guys can pick ideas on this and probably solve the real world problem that you're having, right? Again, this is some of the use cases that are there in the smart agriculture tech that probably you guys can think of and use it, right? So this is really live and it's completely in functional. And for the past in my house, for the past I think more than 2 or 3 years, I've never watered my system, and then I have a system in place where it does all the automation and it takes care of its own. All right, quickly jumping on. Okay, so again, I've been monologuing here, so I just want to quickly pause here, and I just want to see if there are any questions or anything. I know you might have 1,000 questions to ask, but I just want to quickly pause here and see if there are anything that is something that is kind of not correlating, or you want to have any questions. I just want to give a quick break here to hear your comments, or are we good to go? Or shall I continue with this phase, or shall I accelerate or decelerate? Because I don't know when your classes have been starting. So I have a few more topics to cover, more interesting like this. So I just want to hear your reading, right? So either thumbs up or thumbs down, or smiley face or smile down face, so that I can understand your reaction, so that I can move my presentation accordingly. Over to you, students. I want to hear your reaction. All right. Okay. So, all right. Fantastic. Okay. So I hear good. Again, I also understand that we have 15 more minutes. We want to wrap it down, right? So let me quickly jump on all these activities that are there. Okay. So digital twins, right? So again, I'm not sure how many of you have heard this digital twins. So again, this is a bit of advancement of an IoT where I create a digital copy of my own, right? So I just want to give a quick example. Like I am a Balaji. What I really do is that I create a digital copy of my own Balaji, right? And all I do is that in order for me to simulate some real world stuff, right? It's really difficult for me to do it, right? So what I do is that I simulate on the digital equivalent, or a digital twin is what we call, and then understand the output of it and then back apply to the real world, right? So it's a bit of a new concept that is also been evolving, and then where there are so many things that are there in the industry that before it gets implemented, we do a prototype using the digital twins, and then that is how you can do it, right? So digital twins is also not only getting into the industries, it is also really getting to the human. And I can show you some of these presentations that can actually All right. Okay, so just a quick sum up of how your heart is connected to digital learning, right? So, okay, now all you have seen is just the past, right? So if you are really enticed with how the past and the present is happening, so again, gear up, guys, that the how you're going to see the future of how it's going to be. The world is how the IT world is going to be, right? So you're going to really see what are the technologies that are really emerging, and how your career or the future projects needs to be focused towards the next set of industry that is happening, right? So up until now, the AI, machine learning, and all these things that I have explained is all happening now, right? So it's just that at the verge of tapering it down. So any technology that you do, it has a bell curve, right? So it starts, it reaches the peak, and then it kind of really goes down. So as we speak, this technology of AI, ML, data science is at the peak, and then you are at the peak. And what happens is that after a few years, or maybe in a couple of or 3-4 years, slowly it kind of really tapers down, and then it becomes a stagnant, right? So that at that point in time, that becomes as a new normal, right? So any device or anything that you take will have a AI ML. So that's given, right? So that is not something new that anyone will understand. But what you have to really focus now is on the future, guys. So here, the way we have a lot of technologies that have really lined up for the future, and I want you all to focus on the future technologies and then try to build up a use case that can solve the real world problem, right? So again, for the students like you, I really want you to think on solving the problem that we have on the real world. Again, I'm repeating myself again and again because that is where the industry is wanting to, and that is where industry is asking the college students or the graduates who are passing out to look into it, right? See how Swiggy and Zomato all click, right? There is a problem that one solved and then it all boomed, right? So that is all you have to think. All you have to think is that even a small problem, right? Even a small problem, how we can build up, right? So again, I can give my own example, right? There was one elderly person who was saying that, I forgot to take pills, right? So what I was really thinking is that, okay, how simplistically I can solve this problem. All I did was using a Bluetooth, I created a pill box, and all it does is every hour or pre-program, it kind of really does a reminder and sends in the mobile, it's time to take the pill. And I have attached a small sensor in the pill box where the moment you open it, and it detects that, yes, you have taken the pill. So if it is not open and it tells that, you have not taken the morning pill, and please go ahead and take it, right? So that's a small use case that, where the problem is that I forget to take pills, and the solution is creating a pill box using a smart sensor and IoT connecting to using a Bluetooth, using a simple small Android application, and you get out of it, right? So again, that is what I'm giving as an example for you all to think of a small problem and then try to apply technology so that we can make our lives easier, right? Again, I'm repeating myself so that I want to have this idea completely planted on you so that you can get the benefit out of it. Okay. All right. So now, are you guys ready to look into the future of the technologies? Let's jump in. Okay. So now, future of technologies are, now that we have seen this AI and all the other things, right? The future of technology is all going to be the ones that are highlighted. And I'm just going to give a quick information nugget and probably a short video of how this is really disrupting, and then how this is really helping or will help the industry, right? So again, we have something called as a quantum computing, 4D printing. We have heard about 2D printing and 3D printing, and we have 4D printing also in place. And the most interestingly, I was talking about the brain-computer interface and bioprinting and smart dust and all the other technologies that are there that I'm going to quickly talk and give some few information nuggets for you guys. Okay, let's jump in. Okay, someone was really saying, I'm really happy to hear about volumetric display, right? So yes, so gone all the days where we look into this traditional monitoring displays, right? The future is going to be the volumetric displays where we have a 3D visual representation of the object in a 3D phase, right? So just that gives us a sense of real world and real connection. Already things have been started on the works, and then there are a lot of research in the project that are all happening. So again, please think that this is the future of the world. So any thought process that you're having, just make sure that you have this volumetric displays in mind when you are doing this project, right? So I have a quick video for you guys. Going forward, I have a quick video snippets for you guys so that you can really understand how this is helping the industry and you can learn out of it, right? So going forward, you will have a new way to communicate with your real life emotions on a 3D environment, right? All right. So again, guys, you hope you are keeping track of all the movies that I asked you to keep in mind, and then you are making a note out of it, so that at the end, we'll have a quick reflection of what movies have using what technologies. Okay, so just please remember, I'm just quickly reminding you guys to keep that in mind. Okay, all right. So next world of computing is going to be the quantum computing, right? So how many of you are aware of quantum physics? Thumbs up, thumbs down, quickly. Quantum physics. How many of you are aware of quantum physics? Okay, fantastic. So I see quite a people showing up of quantum physics. So that's good. So again, the next set of computing that is evolving is on the area of the quantum theory, right? So the future of today's the computing power has actually reached its the maximum, right? So that is where they are, instead of vertical horizontally expanding like core 5, core 7, core 6, core 7, because the computing speed on a traditional computer has reached its gigahertz max, and then you cannot clock it more because it's not really possible. So what they are really trying to do is that instead of building the maximum, so they are trying to multiply the processors in a parallel way, so that all this information is processed in a parallel environment. So the Intel i5 is nothing but I have 5 processors, right, of the clock, and multiplying and gives you the higher results, right? But again, that has its own limitation, right? So I can do a parallel processing to an extent, but if I have to really do a linear processing, right, where one information, I have to wait for one information before a next information can process, right? And that's when the traditional computing really fails, right? So if you have to follow the result of a previous as an input for the result of the previous result, then it's really difficult for a traditional computer to do or solve very complex problems in the current world, right? So the future is going to be the quantum computing, and then I would really strongly urge you guys to understand more of quantum computing, right? So I just want to give a quick snippet of how a traditional computing versus a quantum computing can break your security, right? So how many of you are aware of this RSA security token, right? So you must have seen a small number thing that will carry, and then maybe if your parents or any of the friends or colleagues are working on IT industries, they must have having that small RSA token where it produces the number, and then automatically whenever you log in, you also type in, so that there is an encryption of the security, right? So why it is working today? It's because that it's the way it really works is on the exponential scaling, right? So which means that the algorithm that RSA token generates cannot be broken by any computers that are there, right? So if you really look at traditionally, if you want to really break that RSA token in the traditional computing, in a classic computing, it takes really 100 years, right? By any chance, if I use a quantum computer where it has a polynomial, any chance, or I just want to quickly, you guys can quickly type in the chat, any idea of how long it really takes to break the code, where traditional computer takes 100 years? A quick chat message that what do you think that a quantum computer can break the code? A quick number chat. Years, months, second. Yes, you are right. So you are too high. Yeah, in a minute, right? That's right. So again, here, what we have something called as a qubit, and in the quantum computing, this can solve the clock in the whole problem in a minute, right? So that is where I just want to, again, I just want to compare and contrast the difference between a traditional computing and the quantum computing, and why you want to focus on quantum computing, because there are a lot of things that are hitting a roadblock right now, and there is a real world problem that we have. And the real world problem can be solved only by using quantum computing. And Google and all the other high big techies have already started using quantum computing for how solving their problems. And then I'm going to do a quick presentation of how the quantum computer is going to really help on the use cases, right? So the machine learning, right? Faster, finance, right? So again, whenever you want to do that, usually what they do is, right, whenever they present the financial statements on a year, right? So they kind of really do a lot of computation across various sectors, regions, and then they what they call as a trajectory optimization, right? It's something like heavy load that the computer has to run forever to get the output of what would be the more optimal financial solution that can be given, right? So all these things can be easily solved. And again, these are all the prompts that you can take it forward and then probably think of your projects in such a way that how I can use a quantum computing to solve all these problems. And I'm really trying to connect what industry wants and then how your thought process needs to be, so that you can apply and build things that can be used for the society, right? Again, in healthcare, the DNA sequence. Look at, if they have one DNA and that DNA has to be compared across the world of all the DNAs, look at the power of computing that really requires, where if they have to solve a problem within times, right? So currently, a DNA sampling takes weeks or months to detect. So if we have a quantum computing, within seconds, the things can be detected, right? All right. So I'll just quickly, okay, so that's all about quantum computing, and then I just want to quickly move on to the 3D printing organ on a chip, right? So again, how many of you know? Okay, so I'll ask you the question after I am done with it, right? So let me not spoil the interest of this topic. So, okay, so organ on a chip is something like, the way the future is going to do is that today, let's take an example, right? In a very simple terms, I have a problem with my heart. And all I do is that I do a 3D modeling of the heart, okay? And then I do the 3D printing of the heart, and then I activate the heart with my own cells and give a life to my heart and replace my fabricated heart to a real heart. Sounds science fiction, right? But you know what? That's reality, and that is happening in today's world. Okay, so there are a lot of things that are happening, and then probably maybe some of you are aware or not aware that these things are started evolving, and then where the organs, right? In a simple word that I've explained here, right? It's just that you print your problematic organ and replace the problematic organ with the ones that is just been fabricated. It's just like this, right? So where we have a 3D printer. So if there is a part that is gone, all you do is that you model it and then do a 3D printing and then fix the part, right? Similarly, in the medical field, this what we call as an extrusion printers, that is all there, and it kind of really create a 3D bioconstruct, and it can create a live cells and can fabricate those live cells, and then once it is fully cultured, and you can replace it back, right? So a lot of research that is all going on, and the future of the medical is completely going to be relying on this, right? So all this animal testing that they are doing right now, it's been replaced with this. So all the beauty products that are there out there in the market, like Lakme and all the other things are there, right? So they want to test all these things in a skin and see how the reaction is, right? All this year they have been doing in the live people, but they have started using this technology. So, and they fabricate their own skin and then apply and then test whatever that they want to test, right? So it is all happening in the industry. So again, what I've done is I've just created a quick video out of it so that you can see how this is working in reality and how you can take out of it. Okay, so let me quickly. All right. So I hope you liked it. So, okay, now I ask a question to you. So how many of you like KFC chicken? Big thumbs up, thumbs down. No one likes it. Oh, yeah. Okay. I see mixed reaction of people liking and unliking. So, okay. So for those who like KFC chicken, especially the chicken nuggets, KFC does fabrication of the chicken nuggets using this technology. Okay, so it's up to you to decide as to what you want to do with this KFC. And most of the industries, they're very finding it very hard to fabricate the real meat, so they are doing a laboratory meat. And the future is going to be a laboratory meat only. And again, I know I have to quickly rush through, guys. It's 3:45. Again, the topics are all coming up one by one. So again, I'll skip through a couple of topics so that, probably I can cover in detail of more of, in a. So again, I'll just quickly run through this. Again, 5G. Again, I know it's the technology that is our future. So I just want to focus more on what is possible on 5G, right? And smart dust is something that you can see there. This is exactly what electronic devices, right? So it's what we call as a micro electron mechanical system. So it can power itself, and all you can do is that you can these are all nanoparticles, and that these nanoparticles are a kind of kept inside your body, and then it can help on various things that transmit the data. So anyone can hack your body using this smart dust technology. And again, we have a lot of things that are there on this one. So again, I just want to quickly rush through and give you the topics of how the industry applications, the smart dust is going to be, again, in the military and then in medical, right? All right, so let's quickly moving on. Again, I just want to touch, right? So right from the beginning, I was telling, right? So how a brain-computer interface, right? So all living beings are electromagnetic, and every thought and emotion is a measurable frequency, right? So all our body systems are regulated by electromagnetic. It's nothing but the whole of our body comprises of all electronic and electronic signals, right? So right now in the current world, they are mapping the whole of human body and create a brain map. Like we create a map out of a place, right? But you can create a map for your brain and using this electromagnetic signal through brain chips, right? So that is where the whole of BCI actually are coming into play, right? So again, without wasting time, let me quickly rush through that, how this brain-computer interface can actually become immortal. You know the word of immortality, right? Immortality is something that you never die, right? So what happens is that, today, Balaji, if I create my brain on a digital copy and I keep it in a hard disk, and I have the hard disk put on an Android device, I can live digitally forever. So again, your life is nothing but your thoughts, correct? So if I record my thoughts in a hard disk and then have that hard disk on a Android device, so you will live forever, and even after your physical body separates, you will still digitally live forever immortally, right? So that is what the research is all happening, and it is all getting into reality. And there is a quick video how PCI will create.
Where there's a lot of sort of the headlines are a little science fiction-y nonsense, because what we're investing in is real science. We're talking about investing in companies that are helping people to live healthier, longer lives, and hopefully live to see their grandchildren, that sort of thing.
And that's what we're calling the Brain Initiative.
Is the whole area of artificial intelligence, or some people would express it the simulation of cognitive behavior, but the fact that software can learn.
So you saw that, right? So today PCI is really helping, right? So again, we have, again, I just quickly rush through. So we have come to the end of the session. I just wanted to see, how you students want to really harness this collective powers of what I just explained today, right? So all these things that you are seeing is nothing but all these things that I've explained. And I want to really have you really thought on the process of, how we can collective, right? So again, the business model is going to be, right, as I said at the beginning, right? So the physical world and the digital world and how we merge towards. So this is the way it is. And going forward, there is no one business that is going to be separate. It's going to be all technology that is added to it. So your thought process needs to be in a way that for every single business, there is a technology added to it, right? It could be a finance tech, biotech, agri-tech, and auto tech. All right. Okay. So again, all I wanted to do is that you as in Epicenter, you want to help improve the learning skills. Again, I want you to socialize the concepts and realize in dying areas of work, again, things that are staggered, you have to get back to it and then mainstream the use of disruptive technologies where we can improve the humanity of it, right? So one last video.
15 million acres of forest that are turned into wood products. There's been 300 million acres that have been deforested since the 1990s. That same 300 million acres at current planting rates would cost $100 billion to replant. There are no machines currently that humans have that can do that better and more efficiently. We think that robotics is a way to make reforestation truly scalable. Our end objective is using drones to plant tree seeds. Right now, forestry companies, they spend millions recruiting the labor to go out there and plant trees. A good tree planter can replant somewhere between 800 trees a day, which is about 2 acres. One person with 15 drones could do the equivalent of 360 manual labor hours. We're already in beta as far as a software platform that allows one operator to manage 15 drones simultaneously. And then that takes us into a whole game changer as far as the economics of reforestation, which is what we're super excited about.
DroneSeed is the most important company working today in carbon sequestration through forestry.
Your kids probably have one of these, right? Not quite. Hell of a pilot? No. That skill is all AI. It's flying itself. Its processor can react 100 times faster than a human. The stochastic motion is an anti-sniper feature. Just like any mobile device these days, it has cameras and sensors, and just like your phones and social media apps, it does facial recognition. Inside here is 3 grams of shaped explosive. This is how it works.
So dear students, again, you have seen the good side of a technology and the bad side of the technology, right? So a good side is where a drone is used to plant and grow, and the bad side is a drone is again used to kill someone. So again, there is no end to the technology. So all I want you to do is that use it wisely and use it humanely so that we can improve the livability and humability of the current world, right? So with that, thank you very much. And I really conclude the session. I really wanted to thank all of you for spending this time this evening with me to go through various journeys. And again, please feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions, and then we can get connected in some of the opportunities that are there, right? So thank you very much. Is the AI, and I was asking you to write a quick note of all the movies and that are there, right? So here is the list of all the movies and what technologies that has been used and how it is imperative, right? So here you go. So that's all we have for today. And again, I really thank you very much for this time. And then I'll probably we'll meet again in another opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for wonderful presentation and wonderful useful information, sir. Thank you very much, sir. And really, the presentation was very amazing, sir.
Thank you very much. And again, I hope all of you
videos, and I hope all the students understood the concept very well. And students having any doubt or any questions you have to ask, and please put your message in the chat box. No, sir. Okay, sir. Sweda?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. So I would like to end the session with vote of thanks. We are really thankful to have Mr. Balaji Kudwan Prem sir today with us. We learned a lot, sir. Thank you so much for this wonderful and informative session, sir. So it was really lively, and thank you for taking us through your wonderful presentation, sir. And it was really awesome, and the session was totally engaged, and thank you so much, sir. I would also like to thank our participants for making use of this wonderful session. Thank you so much all, and I thank our department for organizing such an amazing session for us. Thank you all. And to the participants, the feedback form will be posted, and please do fill it. Thank you, sir. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Venkatesh sir and Balaji sir. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you, students. And thank you very
yes,
much.
Yes, sir.
Opportunity, and wish you good luck, and then hopefully we'll get connected in another opportunity. I would like to extend my thanks to Mr. Venkata Samasava and then Mukul for getting me into it, and then I'm more than happy to connect anytime in the future. And again, thank you all. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Balaji. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Venkatesh sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay.